How's your life? How's your world? How's your heart? My name is Sitara. I am so thankful to have this opportunity to connect with you today. I want to talk about allowing allowance. So to put this in a different way, we could say that we are clearing resistance, right? If you listen to Abraham Hicks at all, you've definitely heard that the path of least resistance is also known as a path of most allowance. So it is allowing the energy that is working for you to flow smoothly. So, when we're connecting with that place within ourselves, when we are allowing allowance, when we are allowing what is moving through us to be open, to be clear, to be present, to be free, and when we focus on what is blocking us, the energy blocks, right? There's so many people or healers out there that say we're here to release the energy blocks. Well, when we're releasing them, what we're doing is we're actually opening the gate. We're opening the space for more allowance to come in and to come through. So that place of most allowance is also what opens the opportunities of the blessings and rewards that are already in your vortex. So if we're talking about the vortex, right? I'll go ahead and just kind of explain that from my perspective or what I've been able to see. And I, this morning, I was doing some inner work as I do, and I wrote down this affirmation. I am embodied in my inherent wealth, and that's going to be backwards for you, but the embodiment of your inherent wealth. I genuinely believe that we come into this world, that we come onto this planet with a set map of goals, dreams, visions, our destiny. You've seen me talk about destiny, free will, fate, our life's purpose, and how our life's purpose opens up for us when we decide to step into the focused intention of finding that fulfillment by opening ourselves up to that path of most allowance to our divine purpose. So, the embodiment of your inherent wealth means that there already is all of the resources required or necessary for you to be able to embody and co-create with the universe at your maximum, at your absolute maximum potential. And when we say potential, it's not like the hustle and grind. It's the embodiment of your soul's resonance. It's the embodiment of your soul's purpose. So when you feel that deeply connecting into the core of your own heart, and your own heart is what starts emanating and starts shining and starts radiating and starts glowing, that is the magnet for miracles that it's like it's incomparable to any bit of action or focus or intention or plan. Yes, the action is a part of it, right? The action is, it's like what builds the riverbanks to be able to allow it to come through, to be able to allow it to move into your heart space, to be able to allow the momentum to come in. Now, there are also challenges and obstacles set up to be able to develop a particular kind of resolve, a particular kind of embodiment of lessons, so that we are respectful with what it is that we are able to receive, that we are able to stand in gratitude with what it is that we are able to receive, that we are able to honor the intention of those who have participated in our lives with us to be able to help us hone in what it is that we are able to receive. So there's a maturity that goes along with this. And when I say maturity, I also am talking about spiritual maturity, embodied wisdom. So if you think of who you are now and you reflect back and look at who you were, let's say 10 years ago, you can tell that you are a different person now, that you have a different level of the embodiment of wisdom. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is how it has to be in order to, receive, right? Because we've seen all sorts of people that are abundant in material resources that aren't necessarily embodied in their own spiritual wisdom or their own spiritual maturity. But from the perspective that I'm specifically talking about, when we're talking about embodying our divine purpose and being able to create a business around that, when we find that point of alignment, when we find that place, right, that allows almost like the arrow to just hit the bullseye, is when the floodgates really open. And so if the floodgates aren't opening and you are doing something that is fully aligned with your heart's intention, and you are doing something where you are embodying the fulfillment of what it is that you feel really called to do, and your favorite thing, the thing that brings you the most joy, is directly connected to your divine purpose. It's directly connected to what you came on this planet to do. That's why it brings your heart so much joy. And that's why I talk so much about heart-centered consciousness. Because a heart-centered consciousness, and when our heart is blocked or closed down, or we've been hurt, or we're harboring a grudge, or we have any of these things inside of our heart that isn't allowing energy to move through it and flow through it, we're discrediting, or we're dimming down our light. And some of us dim down our light consciously and unconsciously because there's a script running, a subconscious script that tells us that it is not safe. Maybe because something has happened in the past, or maybe you've been attacked for being light or joyful or playful or full of laughter. And so there are people or places or circumstances or things in this world that have tried to shut that down. And so on a subconscious level, we create these belief systems that it is not safe to shine in your radiance, to keep your heart open, probably because your heart has been broken before and it hurts, and you're afraid of letting that vulnerability open again. And so it's not always meaning that there is a person involved in the opening of the heart, but that we have the conviction within ourselves to open that spaciousness within us that allows for the path of most allowance. The path of least resistance is also the path of most allowance to flow freely into our world and into our life. And so sometimes this takes a couple nudges. Sometimes this takes some EFT. Sometimes this takes some meditation. Sometimes for some people it's ayahuasca. Sometimes this level of healing and the level of embodiment that we are here to cultivate as anchors of light, conduits between realms, and embodied light bearers in this world. We are breaking out of the mold of the programming that has been indoctrinated into our system, that we have adopted unknowingly under amnesia, to start breaking through and clearing these pathways so that we can accept the full embodiment of our divine presence and our divine power. There's so many layers to this, but I can feel in the field right now the receptivity that is happening from these words and the grace that you are receiving with so much kindness into that inner place of your inner world, into that inner experience of your light-hearted nature, that your innocence can never be destroyed, your innocence can never be taken from you, your innocence can never be harmed, that your innocence in and of itself, that childlike light that comes through when your heart is a beaming magnet for miracles, it opens that expression, it opens that experience, and as that experience is opening, we allow that presence of our true inner peace and our true inner calm to be the guiding presence of what it is that we are cultivating inside of ourselves, what it is that we are cultivating inside of our own creation, what it is that we are cultivating inside of our relationships, with our family dynamics, with the love that we have in our communities or with our coworkers or whatever it be. That when you are embodied in the presence of your graciousness, when you are embodied in the presence of your own peace, and when you are making every choice to do right by you, that your behavior is matching your intentions, your behavior and actions are matching that innermost desire, that you're able to follow the pings, the intuitive nudges that say, yes, go this way, call this person, go down this path, da 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 da. You feel those impulses, you feel those connections opening your heart space in such a beautiful way that what it is that you are cultivating comes to you naturally. It does take conviction, it does take grit, it does take a specific amount of conviction, right? To focus and to feel yourself in your own body. It takes a certain amount of courage to feel the feelings that have created the blocks, to break down the patterns. Some of us have inherent vows of poverty that we have taken in other lifetimes. Some of us are living out the inherent vows of poverty that our ancestors have made or called in. Some of us are breaking down inherent vows of what's it called? Chastity. Some of us are breaking down very deeply rooted patterns from our ancestry and our soul's connection. So I have a fun story that I'd like to share with you, and something that I was energetically reading, tuning into. Yes, Lori says it didn't start with us. No, it did not. We are here saying it's going to stop with us. Doesn't have to start with us, but we can say, buck stops here. I'm going to shift and rearrange these patterns so that I don't pass them on to my children, or that I can be a ripple effect of positive release and positive freedom. When we'll say the powers that be have created such an environment of fear and chaos, that to be joyful, that to be free, that to be liberated, that to be expansive is an act of rebellion in and of itself. When we're talking about vibrational currency and we're talking about the frequency that we embody, when we are anchored in the consciousness of light within the core of our own presence, that in and of itself activates a ripple in the hardest, hardwired, dark, weird energy. So even if you're talking to somebody and egoically they're blocking, they're like, you're crazy, nope, don't agree, blah, blah, whatever it is, stand present in the experience. Notice what you notice. One, it's a projection of their inner world onto you. The only way that it would trigger you is if there is a gap, if there is a gap inside of your own consciousness where you are not trusting in full and complete clarity of what it is that you're speaking to, right? So as we drop down into the feeling, becoming the observer, let's say even in a present triggering experience, somebody is getting really upset with you or whatever it is, and you'll notice that you're either neutral or you're triggered. It's really one or the other. You're either neutral or you're triggered. So when you're triggered, there's a space right there, there's a gap for you to dive in deeper with your own convictions, your own beliefs, to see where you can create an opening that allows more light to come in, allows more healing to take place within you. To that we can say thank you for the triggers, rather than I don't like that person, I don't want to be around that person, blah, 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 whatever it is. And sometimes if the pain that's activated is so intense, you might need to take some space. That's okay. You're allowed to. And now if you're able to be the observer in witnessing what's taking place, it's that your light and your higher self is having an influence no matter what, by transference of energy, just by sharing space with a person. So we all know, everyone who's watching this knows we have an auric field. We all know that we have an energy body that is around ourselves. So when you're in certain environments, everybody's energetic field is contributing to, let's say, the collective energy in the space, in the building, in the room. And you can feel it when you go into different places. It's different when you go into a church, or you go into a nightclub, or you go into a school, or you can feel that there's a different frequency, a different baseline frequency. And part of that is created by the undercurrent that is running through the collective unconscious, which is the energy field that is being generated by each and every single human being that is in that space. Which is why if you have one embodied angel, one embodied light worker in an environment that is dense, it will literally break up the density of the space. Now, if you have 2 or 3 or 4, it multiplies. And so the multiplication of that embodied light is extremely powerful to the field that they are in. And vice versa, right? There's a transference of energy. So if somebody is triggered by your light, irregardless, and they don't want to let it in because they're blocked and they're not allowing, and they have pain and they have grief and they have projections and they have beliefs and they have all this stuff, you're able to see clearly that on some level, your embodied light and your presence of love is sharing a transference of energy. So it's sharing an imprint that actually allows them to experience more lightheartedness and more of a connection inside of their heart as well. And I think that, like, observing that interaction is another great way to connect in with the path of most allowance. That where you are feeling blocked, or where you are feeling guarded, or where you are feeling XYZ, fill in the blank, you can open your heart even more. And that's what I mean. It takes courage to feel the feelings, because to remove the blocks, it takes courage to feel the feelings. And I have a few videos on EFT tapping, something I got certified in a million years ago. But it is wildly helpful and helps you connect in. If you have deeply stored trauma, I highly recommend finding a practitioner that does EMDR. It is rapid eye movement that shows where those places of trauma are stuck in the body, because those experiences, specifically traumatic experiences, will keep you very, very blocked if you're not able to clear it. So those are the deeper ones. But the resistance to the inherent wealth can really be, I don't feel safe to embody my purpose. The resistance to what's already there for you is generally linked to safety, deservingness, and deservingness is really linked into insecurities. So it comes down to self-trust, self-belief, self-connection. And so this is what I mean. If your behavior and your actions are aligned with you doing right by you on a consistent basis, on a powerfully consistent basis, you will develop such a strength and self-trust that no matter what happens in your life, that you've got you, that you will land on your feet. And that kind of unwavering self-trust in and of itself is a magnet for miracles. And when you pair that with the co-creation of your divine purpose, and you're able to have the conversations with the people around you that are meant to be a part of it, and that are meant to help, and that are meant to support, and are meant to participate, that level of unwavering self-trust will also offer a transference of energy. And it comes back to vibrational integrity, which I talked about, I think, in yesterday's video and also on Instagram yesterday. So the vibrational integrity, I talked about it in Rise. the vibrational integrity of how it is that you're showing up in the world, the decisions and choices that you're making, being absolutely connected to your word, being consistent in your actions, that unwavering self trust and unwavering faith in yourself builds deeply rooted and deeply grounded confidence. Confidence is also the magnet for miracles. And I love that I can feel how this is landing. I love that I can feel the openness in your own heart, that the safety that's there for you, the safety that's here for you in this world, really comes from an emanation within. Io e te asiatrai, io kono kua posu tutakakai, kio torkorakai, I tuatarai, I atarai, io no tutukurkai, tutu no korkiata korkarkianakai, kio torkurkai, kiatarai, kiatarai. We're just pulling up some deep rooted fear of not being safe. A lot of past life stuff comes from this as well. Shuturukwa porkianakai. Awesome, Mason. This has definitely been resonating. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here. Suturkwakanakai, kitarakai, ionokorkutkarkai, kiatarkiatorkutkarkiatarkai, kiotorkorkarkar, kietarkarkianokorkai. Bringing online has a lot. It's really amazing what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing it's like light strands lighting up inside of your DNA. Almost like if Christmas lights have one or two lights out here or there. It's like as I'm speaking these codes, I'm seeing these aspects of the DNA that's been turned off coming online. And I know that that's part of what light codes do. That's how they work. But I haven't seen such an intricate, detailed expression of that through my own clairvoyance. Siotara kia nakai ki tidiki ana haakara kia torkurkurkurkarakai iatarai ionokur hutakar kiatarai. I suatarai ianakai hi ia uapunukua huopu satarai I kiatarai iatara haakiatara kunu uapua haakarai. Iawatarai iana haakara ia kunukua huukurasi atanaki uapunuku uapu sahaaka punuki iatara kiatarakai iatar kurkurkurkurkurkai. Sutur kunukur huukutaka. Releasing roots of the gaps in prosperity consciousness. It's like lack. I don't want to even say like lack mentality. We're going deep. This is going into the vaults of ancestral patterning. Sutaraya niakiatarai iokono haakarai siotakra kionokorkai kiotorku punuhu ukutakai iotorkai iatarai ienikia haakuru kunuku uapusatarai iaku aha akiatarai ikiatarai. Siono kua po huukurete atarakai iono kupua haakai. Shiatarai iana kia haakua pua haakanakai kiana. Go ahead and rub your palms together. Big deep breath, connecting your root chakra to the center of the planet. And just take a moment to feel what you feel and notice what you notice. No need to change anything. Find a deep place of relaxation where you can simply observe. Your name, your name, Iatarai, kiatarai, iatarai, iatarai, ionuku sotakere kiana haaka. Go ahead and hit your feet on the floor. Like tap your feet, open up your feet chakra so you can even rub them around on the floor. But open up your feet chakras and feel yourself fully anchoring into the presence of your physical body. Again, just feel what you feel. Notice what you notice. Breathe. Release. Just feel your energy shifting. And of course, if you're curious to connect with us for Rise, we have already gotten started and would absolutely love to have you. It is an 8-week experience to help you harness, connect into your energetic frequency, become aware of your behavior patterns, and to be held accountable for what it is that you are choosing to co-create in this world. It's a combination of obviously action, energetic attunement, and energetic awareness, and being able to be supported and seen by community as you rise, to share in big wins, to share in little wins, to feel supported on the days where maybe you don't want to go faster. But please feel into your heart, and if that resonates for you, if you want to join us on this journey, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, DM me the word Rise. We'll get the conversation started and I'll get you some information. And I would absolutely, I'll speak for myself, but I'll also speak for the people that are in the group, is that we would absolutely love to have you joining us in this experience. Iatarai ianakai kiyokonoku. Beautiful, my love. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for your presence and your participation. Thank you in advance for your likes, your shares, your comments. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. And I will absolutely, once again, look forward to seeing you bright and early tomorrow morning. Sending you so much love. And as we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the lessons received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Our connection here is very much complete. However, I feel called to share this mug with you. If you haven't, like, it's very faint, very glared right now, but if you haven't already checked out the Monad Design store, please feel free to do so. It will give you access to all sorts of designs that I created that include the Monad stamp. So please do feel free to check that out. We've got shoes, we've got kimonos, we've got hoodies, all sorts of good stuff. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you enjoy checking out our site, and I look forward to connecting with you and seeing you soon. Mwah! Ciao, ciao, my friends.